Here I stand. This is the only way.
Hey guys, it's Ethan, and it is Wednesday, May the 12th. I want to talk to you about where we're going next in my sermon series, the Sola System, this coming Sunday. But first, I have one announcement, one update announcement I wanted to give to you. This coming Sunday, which will be the 16th, Sunday, May the 16th, I'm participating in a fundraiser for an event called Project Graduation, which is an alcohol, drug-free high school graduation party event for Battle Mountain High School, which I can see looking out my window here at the church. And a great opportunity to support our public school, our public high school here, in providing a great, safe event for the kids that go to our school with their graduation night. The fundraiser is I am going to be a guest waiter, server at Zakaza's restaurant, which is in Avon, over where near the Home Depot, Walmart, and then there's the little round building with the grass roof, and Zakaza's is there. And so from 5 to 10 o'clock Sunday evening, the 16th, all the tips to the waiters there, to the special waiters, of which I am one, are going to go toward this event. I'm going to be there from about 5 to 7. It's a great restaurant. The owners are friends of mine, super nice people, the Farazakas. And so encourage you to come to Zakaza's next Sunday, the 16th, have something to eat, and give good tips, because the tips are going to go to this great local community event called Project Graduation. Okay, so wanted to put that out there. Last Sunday, Sola Scriptura. This Sunday, Sola Fide, faith alone. What is the role? What is the essence, the scope of this thing called faith in our life as believers? We could probably say that there is nothing more foundational to the Christian or any religious approach to life than faith itself. And of course, after faith, we're going to get into grace, into Christ, and into God's glory. But this Sunday, really looking at faith. And I just wanted to intro into this a little bit by telling you another little story out of Martin Luther's life. Because of course, these sola statements were really the rallying cries of the Protestant Reformation. And so much, even if you're not aware of it, so much of what we believe and the freedom we have, the history we have to believe it, comes from the many of the events that grew out of and happened during the Protestant Reformation. So the story is in Martin Luther's life. You know, he grew up. He was a priest, a reverend doctor in the Catholic Church back in the 1500s, but he was tormented by the guilt that came upon him when he would read most of the Scripture, but specifically Romans chapter 1, verse 17, which says this: "For in the gospel a righteousness from God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last. For just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith." In thinking about this, Luther said, "Now I had conceived a burning desire in my heart to understand what Paul meant in his letter to the Romans. But thus far there had stood in my way not the cold blood around my heart, but that one word which is in chapter 1, or one phrase, the righteousness of God is revealed. I hated that word, the righteousness of God, which, by the use and custom of all my teachers, I had been taught to understand philosophically as referring to formal or active justice, as they call it, in other words, the justice which by God is just, and which by he punishes sinners and the unjust." And Luther said, "I meditated on these words day and night." In other words, when he saw Paul say that the righteous will live by faith, in the Gospels, a righteousness from God is revealed that is by faith first to last. He saw that phrase, righteousness of God, as a condemnation and a measurement that he could never live up to. But then, in a night in a place called the Tower of the Black Cloister in Wittenberg, Germany, Luther had what's become known as his tower experience that changed his life. And this is from his memoirs, from his writings about it. He writes, "I meditated night and day on those words until at last, by the mercy of God, I paid attention to what? Their context. For in the gospel, a righteousness from God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last. For just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith. I began to understand that in this verse, the righteousness of God is that by which the righteous person lives by their own effort? No, a gift of God that is by faith. I began to understand that this verse means that the righteousness of God is revealed through the gospel, but it is not by works. In other words, it's not something that we can do on our own. It's not by our effort. Rather, the merciful God justifies us by faith, for as it is written, the just person lives by faith. And Luther says, all at once I felt that I had been born again and entered into paradise itself through these open gates. Immediately I saw the whole of Scripture in a different light. I ran through the Scriptures from memory and found that other terms had analogous meanings. In other words, the work of God, that is, what God works in us, or the power of God by which God makes us powerful, the wisdom of God by which God makes us wise, the strength of God, the salvation of God, the glory of God. I exalted the sweetest word of mine, the righteousness of God, with as much love as before I had hated it with hate. This phrase of Paul was for me the very gate of paradise. And what made the difference for Luther in a phrase, the thinking of God's righteousness as the ultimate condemnation, to God's righteousness as the ultimate gift? The difference was understanding faith. And this is what we're going to start to explore this Sunday. I hope to see you there.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
Excellent.